A US senator has renewed calls for Julian Assange to be prosecuted for espionage. A Senate Intelligence Committee head has reiterated his view that the WikiLeaks editor has compromised America's security. Assange is currently holed up in Ecuador's embassy in London, waiting for a decision on his asylum bid. Let's now talk to RT's Laura Smith. Laura, good to see you there. Now, Assange has been at Ecuador's embassy for 2 weeks. Are there any more indications about when we can expect his fate to be decided?
Not really. I mean, we hear stuff coming out of the embassy all the time. His supporters and backers are doing everything they can to keep Julian Assange's face in the media. The latest statement we heard was on Friday from the Julian Assange Legal Fund, which was talking a lot about the situation in the US. Of course, Assange has always maintained that what he fears the most is being extradited from Sweden onto America to face these charges of espionage. And evidence is mounting with these renewed calls that we've heard this weekend from the head of the US Senate's Intelligence Oversight Committee. She joined these calls for Assange to be prosecuted for espionage. She's Senator Dianne Feinstein, and she said that Assange had knowingly obtained and disseminated information which could cause injury to the US, had caused serious harm to national security, and should be prosecuted accordingly. She said that he shouldn't be protected by the First Amendment, which of course protects free speech and is enshrined in the Constitution. She says he calls himself a journalist, but he is no journalist. He's an agitator intent on damaging the US government. We are hearing mixed messages coming out of the US. They're possibly a little bit confused about what they want themselves. As late as last week, the US Foreign Minister Bob Carr denied, in quotes, the remotest evidence that there was a US intention to prosecute Julian Assange. But almost on the same day, the US Justice Department again confirmed that there was a continued investigation into WikiLeaks. Now, this is obviously not good news for Julian Assange, but ironically, it could be good news for this asylum bid. Of course, this is all mounting evidence that the US is indeed out to get him, which will all be added into this file that Ecuador is creating to support his asylum bid in conjunction with Julian Assange himself. This is all going to add to his assertion that once in Sweden, the US will apply what could be irresistible pressure on Sweden to extradite him further on to America to face these espionage charges that they're talking about. Now, this all could sway Ecuador, which of course is what Julian Assange has always wanted. He created a good relationship with the president of Ecuador, Rafael Correa, and it's believed that that relationship started when he interviewed him for his show, which is currently broadcasting on RT.
Now, of course, Laura, that much talked about controversial talk show of Julian Assange, which does air on RT, is coming to an end. Now, the final edition, it airs tomorrow, Tuesday, doesn't it? Give us a little bit more on what to expect.
Yeah, so it is the final episode for now. This is the last episode that Julian Assange recorded. Luckily, he managed to do the whole series before holing himself up in the Ecuadorian embassy. This week's interview is with the leader of the Malaysian opposition, Anwar Ibrahim. They found common ground really during this interview because Anwar Ibrahim has also spent time in prison. He was jailed for 5 years, also on sexual allegations, interestingly enough. So they talked a lot about their respective time in prison. Anwar Ibrahim is now tipped to win the Malaysian elections, which are coming up soon, if he's permitted to run. There are other charges outstanding against him. So he talks a lot about his vision for Malaysia going forward, but also about the problem of Islamophobia all over the world in leadership. Let's hear a little bit of that.
You want to do something good, you must not be corrupt. I mean, you attack, the moment you say you are for democracy, you become a Western stooge. But the moment you talk about market economy, you become a, Soros agent. But, these things...
I've been one of those.
You have it now. The moment I have an interview with you, you know what's going to happen after this. The problem with these authoritarian leaders, and at times, even leaders in the West, that include this strong Islamophobia, this we against them, this unilateral policy of the United States. I mean, I don't sense that they even ascribe to the ideals, the initial spirit of the American Revolution.
You can hear that whole programme, you can watch that whole programme, of course, on RT on Tuesday, starting at 11:30 GMT. It's the last episode in the interview programme, so don't miss it.
Thank you. RT's Laura Smith there in London. We'll be looking forward to watching that last episode of Julian Assange's show here on RT.